Live from Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning, LaLa. And I am so honored. I don't think I've ever been like in awe of somebody, of their amount of hustle that they got going on compared to us. So Jay Rodriguez is in the house. You do a 6 to 10 a.m.
morning radio show. Which, by the way, you've met friends who do like morning, television programs, and you're like, how do you get up so early? I'm now one of those people. 8:30 is when I go to bed. 9 is pushing. 10, ooh, you're naughty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my reality, right? The alarm goes up at 4:30, and I'm out the door before 5 in the studio, about 5:15. Start with a cup of coffee, read the day's headlines, and figure out what our 4 hours are going to be. My co-host Michaela Gordon and I, and we love it. Channel Q is the first of its kind, nationally syndicated, coast-to-coast talk radio and music, specifically for the LGBTQ plus community. But anyone can listen. We cover normal issues that aren't specific to just our community, that everyone can learn from Trump to the Kardashians and everything in between. And you guys know it's like it keeps you informed, staying on top of popular culture and also like world news and figuring out your opinion on it.
Well, you are the culture vulture, right?
Yeah.
And original cast of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, you really were responsible for changing American stereotypes.
It's so fantastic to look back at now, 16 years later, because I was 23 when we began that journey, and it was the first major show on Bravo. Not only that, but historically, it was the first all-gay cast in network history ever. And when you're doing it, you don't think about those things until hindsight, and you end up in museums or in textbooks covering that. I think the biggest takeaway is not the fact that, I have an Emmy at home for that show, or that we did 100 episodes or that whatever. The biggest takeaway is being stopped in airports or whatever with people with tears in their eyes saying, because of you and your show, it was safe for me to come out, or it was easy for me to accept my uncle or whatever. And that conversation is my biggest takeaway from those 100 episodes.
Did you expect that?
No, because, honestly, and I know you guys have probably had this in your careers too, you take a job that at this point, Bravo wasn't even really on the map. They had Inside the Actors Studio. It was like a cable station that didn't have the following it does now. So I took it as an add-on. My full intent was to go back to Rent on Broadway, which I had taken a break of, to do Queer Eye. I never thought, none of us did. Everyone just paused their careers with the expansion, and then it just blew up. And I remember the producers sitting us down, pop champagne. They're like, you tripled the ratings in Bravo's history ever.
Wow.
Ellen, Oprah, and Jay Leno want you, and you're shooting the cover of Entertainment Weekly on Friday. And we were like, what? And it's just weird to wrap your brain around when you're in that moment. You have no idea of what this small, just saying yes, what that can lead to.
Wow.
Absolutely. Is there pressure after that to follow that up with something?
Yes. Because there were so many rules that all 5 guys gave. And I would say, out of all the 5, I was for the culture guys. So I would help you behave better in whatever social situation you were to be in. And being a man about town in New York City, I was very cultured. I was the hip, cool, edgy downtown kid. But when you leave that show, suddenly every lesson that your co-host taught, you're now liable to keep up. So if I'm at the gym and I wanted to shower and I forgot my flip-flops, what would Kyan say? And the hem of my pants is wrong, like people clock me like, I'm going to tell Carson. So it's fascinating. And now, obviously, the number one question I get now is, what do you think of the Queer Eye? Now, I don't mind that question, but if you're in the throes of passion, you just finish up and someone says, so what do you think of the new Queer Eye? As the first question, we're like, we're not going there.
Wow. So can we announce what you guys just acquired?
Yes, we have on the new channel Q, which is 97.1 HD2 here in Los Angeles, or the radio.com app, or your Alexa, hey, play channel Q on radio.com. That being said, we have the new Love Line. So it's hosted by Dr. Chris Donahue, who's a love, sex, and relational expert. But now, finally, people within the LGBTQ plus community can call in Love Line and not be like the punchline or gag of the joke. You could actually have a safe space to ask the questions. And obviously, any caller is welcome to call in and ask their questions. But for us, it's something new we really haven't had before.
Wow.
Jay, you've created almost an iconic character for yourself. Your role as Jay, the culture vulture, what do you want your legacy to be?
So it's fascinating because that word keeps popping up now. And it's, I'm so proud of people like Karamo Brown, who is my successor on the show. And coming from a therapeutic background, he's able to offer so much more at his age and his experience than I could have at 23 in a different way. But I feel like now, I love that I'm a storyteller. My career began on Broadway playing, this HIV positive angel character in Rent, and then Queer Eye. And then since then, I've been able to play so many different roles and became the first series regular that was originally best known from a reality show. And I did that with Malibu Country with Reba and Lily Tomlin. And so for me, I guess the legacy is to try new things, even if someone says it's not possible.
Wow,
because I think we get to write our own stories, right?
So I think we all have a question for you. So one of the things with this show is that how do you balance like your social life, because when you're getting up that early,
I would love to have this conversation with you over a glass of wine or something. Because honestly, I think that's the struggle. And you hear this with working moms or working parents, I should say. And I never related, and I relate now because you're trying to ride the balance of putting in enough effort for your career and all those other things, while also trying to maintain fitness and relationships with just friends. Like, I'm single, and I don't even think it's possible to meet anyone. Like, where would I go? And during the day, my hours don't coincide with 9-to-5ers. So it's been really, really tricky to kind of figure out how to balance. So I would say I'm learning day to day of how to, like, first of all, self-care. Because if I'm not feeling well, I have like very little to give someone else. But that being said, I am single. Official J.A.I.
So am I.
Rodriguez. Slide into the DMs. Yes. You are single? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm like, I can help you guys out. Yeah.
But Jay, you are looking for love.
Yeah.
Who are you looking for? What are you looking for?
I want a guy, because I just turned 40, and I feel unapologetic about where I am in my station in life. I don't apologize for the things that I either wear, or the things that I say that might trouble people, meaning that, like, I'm really in my most authentic place in my life, right? And so I want someone who's comfortable with that, who isn't intimidated by the work, some of which I do is, highly visible, and some isn't, but that doesn't impact me. I want someone who's comfortable and passionate about the things they're doing, someone who's kind, and of course, someone who's attractive, but I feel like that word is really broad. A sense of humor would be nice, and an affinity for animals. So there we go. Is that too long of a list?
No,
You're pretty clear, though.
Yeah.
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
pretty clear, and it seems like a unicorn, though, especially.
Right. Oh, you're so right. And here we are in West Hollywood, so trust me, I know. Yeah.
So the biggest challenge is finding someone who doesn't want to change.
Right. And I think the later, listen, I get it. I mean, I'm not to say I'm not pliable or open to dating someone who's different, but I think really honestly, it's like I want someone to not be a yes person. I want someone to be like, I don't know, I disagree, and have that thoughtful conversation. I think so many years I dated people who were felt maybe intimidated by the line of work I was in, even though for me it's literally a job. It's all I have training in, and so for me it's how I pay the bills. But I'm not connected to any level or anything that connects me to the word fame. I've never, even when we were like on the cover of everything with the original Queer Eye, and I was a presenter at the VMAs for Beyonce, I was in Telephone with Gaga, like those little highlights were like, oh my God, I can't. There was like a gig with a cool person that happens to be famous, but like, I don't carry that with me. And so for me, it's just like I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying the journey, and I'm excited to see what the next 40 years hold.
So what is next for you, Jay?
So so right now I have 2 one-hour specials for dance moms. I'm kind of like their Puerto Rican Andy Cohen. I sit in the middle in their reunions, and they bicker at each other. And Abby is back after a year in prison, and after a year of getting treatment for cancer. She is in a wheelchair, but determined to continue to teach these kids. She has a brand new elite team. It's currently on Lifetime Tuesday nights. And the 2 one-hour specials, one with the adults, one with the kids, is coming. And of course, Hulu's Dollface. I have a guest star role opposite Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls. She's fantastic. And then I have a secret project in 2020 I'm not allowed to talk about, but you'll learn about very soon.
So where can we learn about it and find and follow you?
I will post all things on my Instagram, official J.A.I. Rodriguez, and feel free to slide into the DMs for any one of us. I will follow that message along and get us all dates.
Thank you, Jay. We love what you're doing. Stay tuned back for more. Good morning, LaLa.